In the early morning hours of November 21st, 1990, a crowd of delivery trucks began driving away from a Kyoto warehouse, while similar warehouses dispatched similar trucks all across Japan. Operation Midnight Shipping was concocted to head off the possible hijacking of shipments of the most anticipated video game console in the history of the country. Nintendo's Super Famicom. Nintendo had finally sat on its laurels long enough. Although Sega had barely taken a bite out of its home market with the Mega Drive, NEC's PC Engine was another story. After letting NEC eat into its customer base for 3 years, Nintendo reasserted itself as the market leader by selling all 300,000 launch units of its 16-bit console in a matter of days. Later reports claim that it could have easily sold 1.5 million units in that time. The Super Famicom controller was revolutionary, sporting 4 face buttons as opposed to the Mega Drive's 3, as well as 2 innovative shoulder buttons, allowing for a total of 6 different interface options, along with the historically great Nintendo D-pad. The system itself was a beast. Spec for spec, it generally blows the Mega Drive out of the water, especially in the realm of audio and visuals. The Super Famicom's color palette is massive compared to the Mega Drive, and the custom Sony sound chip pumped out gorgeous music and effects. There was one chink in the armor though. Look at the clock speed. The Genesis workhorse CPU is over twice as fast as the maximum speed of the Super Famicom's brain. This is something Sega of America's marketing division in particular would latch onto in the coming years, with spectacular results. The Super Famicom launched with 2 games, Super Mario Bros. 4, Super Mario World, and F-Zero, a futuristic racing game featuring lightning-quick hovercraft. F-Zero is a technical showpiece, built to take advantage of the Super Famicom video hardware's Mode 7. The system had 8 different background graphics modes that it could switch between, performing various tricks that would normally have to be done right in the software. Mode 7 will become the most popular, the ability to scale and rotate a large sprite smoothly. Thankfully, F-Zero was much more than just a technical showpiece. It was a fantastic game to boot. Of course, the real star of the launch was the latest masterpiece from Shigeru Miyamoto and his team, Super Mario World. It was like Super Mario Bros. 3 on steroids. All the great gameplay, plus almost 100 huge, super colorful levels to run around in. New enemies, new friends, and a soundtrack that put the new system through its paces. Although the Super Famicom was hard to get at launch, Sega of Japan reportedly snagged 2, one of which they sent to their counterparts in America. Al Nielsen, Sega's director of marketing, spent the weekend playing Super Mario World and was reportedly unimpressed. According to Console Wars by Blake J. Harris, Nielsen freely admitted the game was fun, finely tuned, and expertly crafted. Exactly what one would expect from Nintendo. But that was also the problem in his eyes. It was just more of the same. He explained a little bit more in episode 50 of the Sega Nerds podcast.
And that's when, Tom Kalinske said to me, prove it. And I went and I did playtests around the country and let people play Super Famicom, which they had never seen before, with Super Mario World, and Sonic the Hedgehog, which they had never seen before. But to make it even harder, we wanted the majority of people who were playing to love Mario. Not just like Mario, love Mario. Because if we could go and convince them, then we knew we had a winner. And what came out of those playtests was that 80% of the people chose Sonic over Mario. So we knew that we had this giant secret weapon.
Based on Nintendo's history, Kalinske and Nielsen figured they had about 9 months before the Super Famicom would hit American shores, and that Mario would most likely be in the box. In fact, they were hoping for the latter, due to their total belief that they had the game to beat it. They had 9 months to build momentum and unleash their little blue hedgehog on the American market. And Tom Kalinske had a plan to make sure everyone who bought a Genesis would own its very best game.